Stan Gibilisco here, proprietor and operator of amateur radio station W1GV, Whiskey 1 Good Vibrations. But the story I'm going to tell you has to do when my call sign was WA0, Ocean Kilo Victor, WA0OKV. As a teenager in Rochester, Minnesota, where my station was in my parents' fallout shelter, I had about 100 feet of coaxial cable running up to an antenna on the roof, which was in itself an antenna that defied Murphy's Law and obeyed Gibilisco's corollary. If it can't... what the heck is Gibilisco's corollary anyway? If it can't work, it might. Basically, that was it. If something cannot work, it might. And this was an example of that. It was just 8 feet of aluminum tubing connected to the center conductor of the coaxial cable, and nothing connected to the shield at all. So it just ran up there, and I used a transmatch and operated that thing on 20, 15, and 10 meters. Back then we did not have the 17 or 12 meter bands, but I never tried it below 14 megahertz until one day I decided, why not try 160 meters? The Drake T4X that I had at the time, along with the R4A receiver, would operate on 160, and I just wondered, if I just stick something in there, I wonder if it will allow me to make any contacts. So I took that coaxial cable, pulled it off of the transmatch, connected it directly to the output of the T4X. I don't know what the standing wave ratio was, and I don't really care. Basically what I had was a wire antenna about 100 feet long running up out of that shelter, that solid reinforced concrete tornado shelter is what we used it for, and up to the antenna on the roof, which was about 20 feet above the top of the roof. A really lousy antenna. I don't know how long it was. It might have happened to be resonant as a 120-foot quarter wave, 160 meter wire, but I doubt it. Anyway, I just got on there and started trying to make some contacts with the 100 watts or so that T4X would put out. I didn't expect to make much in the way of contacts, because that antenna was something that couldn't possibly work. Its design was atrocious in every way, and yet it's the second best 160 meter antenna that I have ever had. I made contacts all over the United States easily with that thing. The only antenna that I've had that's worked better than that thing are various kite and balloon supported wires. Other than that, nothing I've ever used on 160 came close to that atrociously designed antenna. So again, to the viewer who wants to try running that 500-foot wire along the top of the fence, theory says it can't work. Gibilisco's corollary to Murphy's Law says it might, but it sure won't work if you don't try. Stan Gibilisco, W1GV, saying 73, which means best regards in ham radio jargon, and so long, which means in my favorite mode. Da-da-da-da-da-da.